right now I want to talk about biblical community. And just two things really. What is it and how do we practice it? Biblical community we see in the New Testament, and we start off with the Great Commandment. Jesus says in Matthew 22, everybody knows that passage, love God and love your neighbor. But also in John 13, Jesus gives us a new commandment, and that is to love one another. Jesus goes on to say, by this all men will know that you are my disciples, conditional clause, if you have love for one another. Now the authors of the New Testament, to talk about what it is, this biblical community, they go on to expand on that. Over 50 times in the New Testament, you see the phrase one another. Exhort one another, admonish one another, challenge one another, greet one another, love one another, pray for one another, over and over and over again. We see this. So how do we practice biblical community? We get inside, involved with a local church, and we practice the one another's. When we practice the one another's, what happens is it builds us up, and it builds up the body of Christ. Paul, in his letter to the Ephesians, the constitution of the New Testament church in Ephesians 4, he tells us that the pastor's job is to equip the saints job is to do the work of service. What is the work of service? That is to build up the body of Christ. How do we do that? We practice the one another's. Now we come to Ephesians 4:16. Paul summarizes this passage by saying, from whom the whole body, and I tell my students this, from whom the whole body being fitted together and held together by that which every joint supplies, according to the proper working of each individual part, wait for it, causes the growth of the body. Biblical community means that we live in a close connection inside of a local church, using our spiritual gifts to build up the body of Christ. When that happens, according to the proper working of each individual part, that is what causes the growth of the body. And biblical community, at that point, Jesus becomes seen, Jesus becomes felt, he becomes visible in a local church, in a local community. And that's what biblical community is all about.